Hi everyone. So this video is designed to get you ready for the material associated with week 4, part 3. So that is the material coming in kind of over the weekend here as we come to the end of week 4. And one of the things this video assumes is that you have completed and submitted the first draft of Portfolio Essay 1. And so you've gone through that entire process with Portfolio Essay 1 and are now ready to consider Portfolio Essay 2. Okay, so that's really important. The second thing that is assumed here is that you will take some time to consider the samples of Portfolio Paper 1. These drafts could be crucial for those of you who are still struggling with conceptualizing a formal academic essay. What does it look like? Now, in the class on Thursday of week 4, I took the first 20, 30 minutes of class to walk everybody through kind of again formally the outline and structure of a formal academic essay. I'm not going to repeat all of that here, but that is embedded in the samples. They're not perfect samples, but they're moving in the direction, okay, of a formal academic essay. So you have that work that you can consider, and I would strongly encourage everybody to look at that work, consider that work before they push further into the class, okay? All right, now let's talk about the assignment, which I will walk you through and make comments on as we go through it. Now that you've had a chance to write and get feedback on your first portfolio essay, we can set that aside for the moment and turn to the second portfolio essay. We want to be reminded here that our portfolios contain 3 major pieces of writing: Portfolio Essay 1, Portfolio Essay 2, and a critical reflection. So we're now thinking about Portfolio Essay 2. The second portfolio essay is often a tricky one. You feel a bit wiped out from the first portfolio essay, which is very reasonable in a fast summer class like this, and you're at a loss perhaps for where to get started. I don't think you'll be at a loss for how to get started, but you're probably a little tired. The reading and annotating notes below should help you look through your work in a generative way. That is, if you're not sure what your second portfolio essay will be on, this assignment is designed to help you figure that out. Here's how we do that. Look over the annotations that you put together while you were preparing to write Portfolio Essay 1. So that is, you read and you annotated and you took all the ideas that you found interesting and you copied them and you put them into a new blank document, and you had that document you were working with as you were drafting and organizing Portfolio Essay 1. Obviously, much of what you've already written has been repurposed for the first essay. So you probably used a lot of that material for the first essay, but you'll find some of your annotations fell by the wayside. They weren't central to the lines of inquiry that you developed, or you weren't sure how to develop your thinking on that topic, or you just weren't as curious about it as you were about your other annotations. So there was some kind of garbage, maybe the wrong word, but there was a lot of material that you didn't end up using out of that big sheet of, quotes and paragraphs and whole passages, maybe even whole papers that you created for yourself as you went about starting work on Portfolio Essay 1. Okay, so of the stuff that remains, identify the information that sparks your curiosity. With those annotations as the starting point, look back over the portions of your writing that you didn't annotate earlier. That is, I look at my notes and what are the sections of my notes that I didn't end up using for the first one? Okay, I identify some stuff in those leftover notes that I'm still interested about, and now I'm going to go back and look at the reading associated with that information, and I'm going to annotate it to identify how it could be further connected to the ideas that I'm finding myself to have some interest in my leftover annotations. With those annotations as the starting point, look back over the portions of your writing that you didn't annotate earlier. How did you see them connecting to the annotations you passed over in the first essay? What passages from your writing seem to fit together in those annotations? Make some annotations about these previously overlooked parts of your writing that elaborate on the connections you see in them. So if I was to put all of this in a nutshell, I would say go back over your notes, look for the stuff you didn't put into the first paper, and try to figure out how some of those ideas can be connected to each other. That's a good foundation for your second portfolio essay. For some of you, it may not be that difficult. For some of you, it might be like, well, in the first paper, I focused on life worlds, and in the second paper, I focused on performance or the performativity of writing. That's that simple. But for others, it may be more of a challenge. And that's a paragraph of information to help you with that challenge. When you are finished reading and annotating, compose a text in which you develop a line or lines of inquiry that let you explore the points that sparked your interest. Like you did in Portfolio Essay 1, return to the writing and pull out phrases, sentences, even whole paragraphs or assignments from your earlier writing that might help you develop these lines of inquiry. That is, take the time to create a new file that contains all of the writing you've already done that relates to or could relate to the line of inquiry you want to develop. And then use that, craft that, pull from that, organize that information into, or as much of it as you can, organize that information into a formal academic essay. And again, the structure for that we discussed in class on Thursday, and is also latent or evident in the samples that are provided in this assignment. So I want you to do that work, and I want you to submit that second draft by Sunday. Okay? That's one of the next steps in our class. Okay, if we go back to look at week 4, part 3, you will notice that there is no discussion associated with the week. All you have to do to complete this work is to, well, not all you have to do, but the thing associated with week 4, part 3 is the first draft of your second portfolio essay.